AJ, I can't tell if we're recording.
Yeah, we're good. We're on.
Okay, thank you. All right. Hey, Robert, you know those commitments we got yesterday, we need to put those in an Excel spreadsheet and post them.
Okay.
All right. Got a lot of good commitments from people. We got to
Now,
remind them.
are we sure they would like us to post their commitments?
I am sure they would like us to post their commitments.
Okay.
I'm not sure
All
they're
right.
sure.
No, because, you know,
I'm not sure they
going
want
around the room and getting a verbal commitment might be a little bit different than like actually holding them to it.
I know, but you know, we all have jobs to do, right? I like it. Okay, one more thing here. And let me put this up. And let me take this and put it here. And I'll put that there. And I will put that there. Okay. Let me close this one down. All right. Good job. All right. So just as a reminder, we are streaming this live on Facebook. We're also streaming this live on YouTube. This is Mastermind with Neil Schwartz. It's our Tuesday edition. Amos Koren is our guest. Good morning, good afternoon, I guess now, Amos. Good job. Love to have you here. Love it. Fantastic. Very excited. Amos and I know each other from the Mike Ferry organization, have been involved in that for, I guess since we'd met probably 5-8 years ago in that. And he's going to tell us a little bit about some things that he's doing. It's very, very cool. And it's a little bit of a change of pace of some of the things that we've seen and some of the agents that we've talked to. This is, Amos has been doing like 20 transactions a year for the last 5 or 6 years and 7 years, I'd say, and then was really frustrated and wanted to make a change and move it up to 30, 40, 50 transactions. And I wanted to bring that in and talk about it today to get his insights on that. Because the truth is, a lot of us struggle with that. That's our number that we struggle with. We plateau at 2025. 15 to 25 in that range. And we can't seem to break loose out of that and get to the 30, 40, 50 range. So Amos, I'm looking forward to you talking to that point and some of the things that we're working on. Your marketplace is Arizona, correct?
That's right. It's Tucson, Arizona. Yeah.
Good. And how long have you lived there?
Since 98. I went to the Bay and I got stuck here.
You got stuck in Arizona. Yeah, actually, we had talked a little bit yesterday, and in the conversation that we had, just kind of catching up, two times you had shared to me, I can't wait to get to California. I can't wait to get to California. Yeah. So that's probably one of your goals or mantras, right?
Well, you see the background behind me. That's the future boat in San Diego Bay.
Oh,
prospecting from that one day.
Very cool. I like that. Very visual kind of a guy. Fantastic. So Amos, did you start off boom doing 20 transactions, or was it a gradual growth?
I think the first year was 17. I just had a dollar amount in mind, and it ended up being about 17 or something like that. I didn't really keep much track back then on that, but I think it was 17.
Okay. And that was 17 transactions your first year. Second year bounced around 25 or so, I think.
About, 20, 22, somewhere in there.
Right. And then that's kind of where you stayed for a little while until what year did you start? Did you say that's it? You drew a line in the sand and then I'm going to move this thing forward a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I pushed pretty hard. In 2018, I got to 45 transactions, and I switched. I got a coach back then. It was Gailey. I started working with her. 2019, I did 33. I had somewhat of a car accident in late 2019. It kind of screwed up the cycles a little bit, but then I got back in 2020 with 25 so far.
25 closed and pending so far. Did anybody tell you there was COVID-19 in the middle of that?
Yeah, there's news, you know. I told you yesterday, you know, the reality is I really don't think about it that much. I kind of tuned myself out of that part. I did look at some financing stuff and kind of realign my finances in the last few months. I've been working on that, working on getting my trust and documents in order to family stuff. But I really didn't really buy into the virus and all that stuff. It hasn't really made an effect.
So when we were talking, one of the questions I asked, I like knowing this. What do you and we talked about your superpower. What is it you think that's, you know, I mean, you're doing well. You're certainly on track to have a great year this year. I think and set yourself up for 21 and 22. 23 is that on track? 2023 for 100 deals. Is that that's what you're looking to do?
That'd be nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm trying to time my move to California too. So I'm getting my license right now. I should be taking the test in July. That's the plan.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that
So
works.
what's your superpower, Amos? What is it? What?
You know, I don't really get phased out by a lot of things. I have I guess a short-term memory. So if something happens, it doesn't work out, you know, I move on and, you know, the next day keep pushing, you know, so I just get over it.
Yeah, Mike talks about that a lot, where you just have to get over it. What he uses the football analogy. If you have a bad game, so is that where that comes from for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard Mike talk about that or somebody talk about that, and I kind of it stuck with me. You know, if you have a bad play, you know, all the high performers, to be good, you have to just, you know, trust yourself. You threw an interception, you threw a bad ball, a bad play, you know, just, you know, focus on the next play, you know, let it go. It's in the past.
Got it. So how does that work for you when you're prospecting, or you're doing a listing presentation? Easier said than done sometimes, no?
Yeah, I mean, there's always some tough ones. Every once in a while, you get a client you think you should be getting the deal, and you did all you could, and you did the right thing, and it still didn't work out, so you feel a bit bummed. But you know, just get over it. You know, next. You know, you
Got
just
it.
move on.
So where does most of your business come from? What's your sources of business?
Mostly for the last few years, it's been mostly expired cancels for rent by owners lately. For sell by owners, been actually easy. A lot of my deals lately have been for sell by owners, just easier than expireds and cancel.
So tell me why that is in your opinion.
Well,
for
I
you.
mean, the bottom line, they're just trying to save money for the most part, usually. The expireds cancel already got burnt before. That's a harder conversion, I think. With a for sale by owner, I just want to save money. So if you can talk intelligently and tell them that you're there if you can prove to them you can get them a better return, and it's a pretty easy process, you know?
Okay. All right. So that works out pretty well for you.
Yeah.
Got it. So that expires for sale banners. How about past client and sphere?
That has been Achilles heel for a long time for me, because I think that I honestly, I was in a way, back of my mind once was, you know, not seem desperate to get business in a way, you know, that mentality, or the mentality, I don't really want to expose myself and get hurt by somebody I know who's telling me, you know, I'm going to pick Billy Bob and not you. And so that is a hurtful thing. And I think that really way I can talk to expires and FISBOs and get cussed at or get rejected, no problem, and do it 10 times. But the personal feel, I think that what kept me for a long time. And maybe I just like the hunting and fighting for it. I don't know what's the deal with me. but I'm getting smarter. So I'm realizing that, and I'm converting a lot of deals lately from those sources, from PCCOI.
Good for you. Good for you. Good job. And how do you have a system to stay in touch with them, or that's still developing?
I've been trying different sources. I know that at the end of the day, I keep coming back to the simple Excel spreadsheet. I just type in the last time I called them and last time I left a voicemail for them, and that's about it. And we send the calendars and those things. But that's usually what I do. And I realize I need to probably get a better CRM system.
Okay. All right. Okay. But it sounds like you're struggling with similar stuff that a lot of us are struggling with, when we're trying to put together the systems and do the stuff that needs to be done. So when you're going after expireds, I mean, do you have a particular resource for your expireds?
I use Vortex, Redx. That's
Okay.
the source I use for the most part.
Okay. And that gives you the phone numbers and stuff that you need?
Yeah, it works pretty well. I mean, I can't complain. So that's a good source. And sometimes I do door knocking every once in a while. It's a little bit hot right now in Arizona. And 105 right now, so it's not pleasant to be outside. But
It's nice to be on your boat there.
Yeah. But, the just sold, just listed on a phone. If I do it, I will get contacts. It's just that I usually don't end up doing it too much. But whenever I call, I usually would get something.
So let me ask you something. So, because it sounds like being consistent on the phone it sounds like not a challenge, but it's not. You're not in love with that process yet. Am I right?
No, I mean I like the phone. I'm okay with the phone. When you dial, you'll find somebody.
Uh-huh.
That's more effective for me than going outside and knocking on doors. I get more contacts when I'm on the phone. Being on the phone is boring like anything else eventually, but I think it's choosing something that's going to motivate you to get those calls made. Beyond looking at your bank account, that's going to motivate you eventually. Not having any money in your account, but just getting what will I do once I get those sales going.
Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. How many contacts are you making in a day?
I've been really going down to about 15, which is not good. So the last 2 days I've been trying to get back to normal to 20, 25.
Okay.
But I try to focus on more quality contacts and just making a lot of contacts, more quality.
So what does that mean? I mean, calling more expireds or spending more time on the phone trying to find the expired and find the right phone number? Tell me more about that.
The expireds, the for rent by owners, the for sale by owners, the past clients. That's what I focus on more than it just sold, just listed. But I realize that in order to get to the numbers I want to get, I'm going to have to also add more contacts to just listed, just sold.
Okay, got it. And the for rent by owners, how's that market been treating you?
Very good. I mean, it's amazing. There's a lot of business out there. So, so long as you sound intelligent and somebody wants to sell or has an interest in selling, you'll sell. So it's not. It's just making those calls.
So do you keep the cell phone number and keep the database of the for rent by owner for the long play, or you just playing the short play?
I don't. I don't really keep a database of people who will sell. Who if they don't want to sell, I just don't. It's just I don't have the size to have a database of 1,000 people who may want to sell. 4 years from now.
Got it. So you're pretty so kind of sounds like you're focused on looking for a deal now, something you can close now. And it pays well because you've already closed and pending 25 transactions.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But I do keep people on file. If they say, hey, I have a lease for 2 years, I have a lease with this one person for a year, it's going to expire, I'm going to look at values then. I'll call him in a year. I'll keep his number and I'll call him. Simple particular file by month, and I'll call them, and I get business that way all the time. So that's
so that you are playing a little bit of the long play.
Sure, but only if it's a condition, not if it's only if it's a condition I have a lease. I cannot sell right now, even if I wanted to. That's a condition. And then I will keep that data.
Got it. And so then 9 months from now, you'll call them because they're coming up on the lease.
Yeah, I will cut it in half.
Okay.
Cut it in half because the worst thing that can happen is you call somebody and a week before you call them, they already listed. That's the worst. That's the worst feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure. For sure. So where did your for rent by owner numbers come from?
Red X has all the numbers basically for me.
Got it. Do you do anything with Airbnb?
I don't, but it's a good source. I think it's going to be a big source now that with all the stuff that's going on, it's a good source to call. I try to find something, but I couldn't really find the data source to pull up those Airbnbs.
Got it. Okay. All right. Good. Perfect. Okay. So let's talk about you said that, I wanted to ask about practice. Are you still doing practice on a regular basis?
I do. We do a role play group every morning, 7:30 through 8 o'clock. We do this last 2 weeks, we've been doing a role play presentation on Zoom. We do a listing presentation every day. We do a listing presentation group on Fridays as well. And I realize that I probably could use more practice.
So wait a second. Are you really practicing your listing presentation daily?
Right now we are, yes.
Yeah, because of the Zoom situation.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. And how about the pre-qualifying scripts?
I don't. Well, when we do the presentation, we usually practice those as well. And I have obviously we practice those also in person. So I mean self practice, yes.
So Amos, you sound very consistent, very focused, you put one foot in front of the other, and you're going to do 50 closed and pending. But I mean, a lot of us will struggle, and it doesn't sound like you're struggling. And I don't mean any disrespect, but tell me what's going on in your head for you to crank out 50 deals. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, and I told you yesterday that when I first started, I was doing I think it was in July, I went to the first Superstar retreat when I first started, and I met this girl that was doing 25 transactions for the whole year. And I was doing, at the time, I had I think 6 or 8 closed, and I was like, how the hell is she making that happen? I could not imagine getting there. I knew eventually it's going to happen, but it just seemed such a daunting number. And it's amazing that I already got in revenue what I got last year in the first 6 months, which is
so far this year.
Yeah. So
and I am going to ask you again. Did anybody remind you that we just had 3 months of COVID-19?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this is actually a great time to sell because everybody's afraid. Everybody's putting the house off the market. This is like Christmas time. So
Right.
You're the only one on the market for sale. This is a great advantage for us. And so long as you spin it in the right way, you'll get deals.
Good for you.
So yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's about figuring out your bottlenecks and then be able to crank 50. And then once you get crank 50, then you should never look back at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So I had a couple of questions here. They were asking about, do you have some kind of a team or assistant that helps you in this?
I have, my wife is a licensed agent. She helps me on the transactional aspect, putting the forms, scanning them, and also on staging of homes. We do some light staging now. I think that helps sell the house. So we do that.
Okay, good. But no buyer's agents or that kind?
Not yet.
No? Okay, got it. Good. So Valerie asked, what is spinning it the right way?
You gotta, I'm not saying to, if you look at the actual facts, you'll see that in Tucson, between Sunday and Monday last week, 198 homes went for sale and got on the contract. Okay. The total inventory in Tucson is 2,000 homes right now. It is the lowest inventory we had in a long time. 200 homes going on a contract from 60,000 to $2 million. I mean, you tell me why you shouldn't be on the market right now, because that's going to change once the government stop paying checks for everybody. So you got to take advantage of the market that you have, and that you got to educate your sellers that you're going to miss out on an opportunity. 6 months, 12 months from now, you're going to have a different market, when the price is going to go down, and that's going to happen. So you got to take advantage of it. You got to show him why it is worth to be on the market today in their advantage.
Good idea. Good stuff. Okay. Excellent. All right. So post COVID, you going to do anything different?
No, I mean, my focus is, I gotta stay consistent and not let go. Cause the tendency when you start things starting to look good, like you're doing 25, 30 deals in the first 6 months, tendencies to ease up and relax. So you just, I'm a little bit tired from these transactions and dealing with all these people. So you want to relax and take it easy. But the problem is that you don't see those effects right away. Your 1-2 weeks going to be really detrimental to you, 2 months from now. And so you got to keep your pedal on. I noticed that my contacts have gone down the last few weeks. I got to really step it up and bring it up again.
Good for you. Good for you.
That's
So you track your numbers pretty religiously?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Got it. So do you do that with your coach, or is that something you personally do?
With the coach, and obviously the analyzer that they provide is really amazing. So looking at it kind of gives you a little reality check. So.
Okay, good. Excellent. So what advice would you give our group to kind of move forward through this? I mean, I kind of feel I have a Clark Kent and Superman here. I'm getting the Clark Kent right now, but there's a Superman underneath this. Okay. Cause you don't do 50 transactions and be Clark Kent all day long. Right, Amos?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, give me, move the cape a little bit so I can see Superman.
There's no real magic to it. It's just, it's a pretty simple thing. I mean, we tend to overcomplicate stuff, but at the end of the day, you don't make calls, you don't get paid, so.
Wow. I should write that down.
It's,
you don't make calls, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
I like that. Good thought.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I talked to a lot of people, and if they have a desire to sell, I saw a movie once. It was The Wolf of Wall Street. The guy was saying, sell me this pen, and the guy says, well, I don't need a pen. Well, if somebody doesn't need a pen, don't keep trying to sell the pen to them. I mean, you just got to find people who need to sell the pen, who need to buy a pen. Sorry.
Right.
So, the same thing. Don't try to overcomplicate it. Just look for people who want to sell and go sell them. Don't wait.
So look for the have to buys and the have to sells, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. And my coach, Gay Lee, was giving me a good thing. I don't have it with me here. I wish I need to find it in my notes, but basically a little matrix, if you will, of kind of to figure out the motivation of people, those that have to sell. And that's the people you want to find, because otherwise it becomes very tiring to try to sell homes. People who have no real desire to sell. You might get the listing, but if they're not truly motivated to sell, it's going to make your life pretty miserable. So
simple but genius.
Yeah.
Simple but genius. That's great. Good stuff. Okay. So you gave us the idea of staying the course and doing what we're supposed to be doing for the balance of the year. Any other ideas that you want to share with us for this post-COVID period?
I'm thinking right now in my head, it's again, the same analogy of like a palm tree that kind of moves. It doesn't break, it just bends. Okay. That's a good analogy. You have some listings, you don't get a listing, or you get screwed by a person you fight, you're going to get the contract and they did something, or just let it go and try to bend, and don't worry too much. Just keep going. And that's the thing. You just got to roll with it and just have a very short-term memory, because you're just going to keep, next. So that's the mentality. It's going to help.
Well, okay. But but how do you keep that goal in front of you? Do you do anything special? Do you do anything other than reading your goals and checking your bank account?
I know. I think I really don't worry about the money part. I mean, the money will come. I only count listings. When I take a listing, it's the only time I really count. Only time I'm really looking at it as a something I got. When I get a listing, I'm excited. I don't worry about it's going to sell. When you take a listing, it's going to 99% is going to sell usually. So I'm not worried
Okay.
about that. But as far as getting motivated, the money is not the issue. It's just what you're going to do with the money. So for me, it's going sailing, or it's going to getting when I get my license for my California. When I get my California license, I'm going to get my pilot license.
Oh, wow.
So that's the plan, and flying, commuting from Tucson to San Diego and selling real estate there, and also in Tucson eventually.
Oh, that's exciting.
So
That's exciting. That could get you up in the morning and get you excited and get yourself an airplane. And so you're going to have an airplane and fly back and forth to Tucson and San Diego, and you're going to have a boat in San Diego Harbor.
yeah, going sailing, joining a sailing club, which I've done. So all the stuff, do something more exciting than what you normally do.
So they don't have a lot of sailing in Tucson, do they?
No, only monsoon. There's a flood. So yeah.
I love it. Those are very vivid goals. I appreciate that. Okay, so questions for Amos, things that you want to know from Clark Kent here.
I have one.
Go ahead, Josie.
Thank you, Amos. I'm Josie Jellick. You said you practice the Zoom every day, which is great. We do too. And have you done Zoom presentations with your clients, or are you still mostly doing live presentations? What's your ratio kind of?
I have not done any Zoom presentations yet. I have years ago, I did a Skype presentation and got the listing that way. I did hangouts with my clients in the past when we went over offers, but this is the way of the future. It's going to be the way that we do. So you just get used to it, so.
Good advice. Excellent. Good question, Josie. Thank you. Other questions?
I got one.
Please go ahead, Michael.
Hi, Amos. My name is Michael. It was very good hearing you, share your experience and everything. I just got a quick question here. What would you say your biggest challenge is going from, you're on track to do 50, most likely you're going to do more. What's your biggest challenge, when you were at like 17 going to 50? What's your biggest challenge that you face, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I think the challenge is really mindset, is knowing that you can do it and being able to delegate stuff and let things go. I think just trusting that things will work out and just take the listing. The only focus you should have is get the listing. Everything else will take care of itself. The only goal, you can never be too busy. Just get the listing.
So from what I understand, you said delegate what's not necessary and you only focus on listing. That's kind of how you overcome that.
Yeah, your only job is to get a listing, and then everything else will work itself out.
That's a good thought. I'm going to write that down. Thank you.
I like that. It's very direct and very simple. Good job. Okay. Somebody else had a question. Thank you, Michael.
This is Jess.
Yes, Tess.
How are you?
Good.
Just wanted you guys know Amos is on our accountability group, and he's very, very consistent, hardworking guy. So aside from the plane, what really motivates you?
And the boat, Tess, the boat.
The boat. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I have a lot of hobbies that I don't have to work. If I quit tomorrow, if I had the ability to quit tomorrow, I would not be looking down. I don't have a desire to work. It's not. There's a lot of things you can do for fun, but obviously, I have two girls, and I want them to be successful and take care of them. And I have a family. Obviously, I want to leave something behind eventually. I want to grow this beyond just, a weekly paycheck. I want to make it passive paycheck. So, I gotta produce now so I can start, buying properties and getting smart with the money. This is just a temporary thing. One of the reasons of going to California is because in 10 years of working there, I can do what I can do here in 30 years. It doesn't make sense to live in Arizona.
Exactly. I know that you wanted so bad to be in San Diego already, so hopefully you'll get there. Do you have a deadline on that?
I need to get my license done. I need to take the test hopefully in July. I have a friend who's moving to California, to San Diego. I got to help him buy a couple of homes there. That's a good motivating cherry to work for.
Beautiful. Good job. Thank you.
All right. Good. Good. Thanks, Tess. Great question. All right. Do we have, go ahead.
Amos, just to follow up on Michael's question, you mentioned everything's a mind thing, and it seems like your mind was already set prior to you doing those numbers that you're doing right now. But what was the biggest change or adjustment that you did when you went from 6 to over 25? Like, what was the biggest change that you think that actually impacted and gave you the results that you wanted?
I don't know if I can really answer it. If you make the calls, number one, to get to 20, anybody can, because if you make the simple calls that you're going to make, you're going to get 20 deals. If you make 25 contacts a day, you'll get to 20.
Okay.
You'll get to 20. And then beyond that, it's a matter of, number one, building your databases, building your systems so you can take more deals, getting away the bottlenecks that, don't do your own admin for it, because that just kills your time. What's your value per hour, per minute? Gailey, my coach, was very good in saying, figure out your cost per minute. You hang out in the hallway, it costs you $3. I mean, it costs you $30 for 10 minutes that you're standing there. So figure out your value of your time. I think what helped me lately, I'm realizing as I get more into this, that my value of my time is really, my time is expensive. It's $1,000 an hour, whatever that is. And that is something that's a real number I can calculate now. I can see from the analyzer that my time every day I should make about $1,200 a day. That's what I'm making. So what's that per minute? So that is something that eventually sinks into anybody who's successful. And now I can relate to people who are more successful than me because they know their value.
Got it.
Great thought. Great job. Thanks, Albert. Good. Other questions for Amos? All right. Okay. So what I want to do, we have a hard stop here in another 5 or 6 minutes. I really appreciate your time, sir. Really good information, solid, basic, good stuff, helping us go from one level to the next level. So unmute yourselves. Let's give him a big round of applause. All right. Good job, guy. So what we do is I'm going to ask my group what they learned right now. You're welcome to stay around. I know you do have a hard stop. So again, thank you so much if you have to bow out. Okay, so what did we learn today?
The value of your time. Understand the value and
What's your time worth?
that will get you to determine where you want to spend your time, right?
Okay, good.
And how you want to
Good.
use it.
Good, perfect. All right, good. What else? What else did we learn today?
And there's a mindset thing that he mentioned. I actually wrote down right here. It said for sell by owner, it's actually easier than expire. All they want to do is save money. That's a pretty good, interesting mindset. So to take
That's very
cool.
Good. That's a money-making idea. Absolutely. Thank you. Good. What else did we learn today? Go ahead, Esther.
He said that, excuse me, money doesn't motivate him. What motivates him is what is he going to do with the money that he earns?
That was a great thought. Okay. It's not the couple 100,000 or the 500,000 or the million. It's the boat he's going to buy and the airplane he's going to buy and the education that he's going to be able to provide for his children. That's what the money does. Good stuff. All right. All right. Good. What else did we learn? What else did we learn today?
Neil, he has some stretch dream goals.
Yes, he does.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you've got your regular goal and then you've got your stretch goal. Okay, good. Robert, you've always got something. What'd you pick up today?
I've picked up a couple things, but one of the things he said is that if you just focus on getting a listing appointment, everything else works itself out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we get
Simple
so
thought, huh?
in all these other different things, and it's just go get a listing and we'll figure out the rest.
Uh-huh.
That's the thing.
That's absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. I love it. I love that his superpower is stuff rolls off his back. I just love that. How many times a day, a week, a month does the stuff, the drama of the real estate business get in the way and stop us from doing something? And then as Amos says, it's and then how much time are we wasting not doing the activities, which is going back to what Robert reminded us of, is going out and taking a listing. So absolutely fantastic. All right, so unmute yourselves, please. Let's give him a giant hand. Thank you very much, sir. Good work. Woohoo! All right. Yeah. Good job. Good job. Okay. All right. So I want to take a couple of minutes before we go to Robert. Robert, what are you talking about today while I'm looking for my notes?
So I'm going to go over doing a virtual listing presentation at 1. So I'm going to create a CMA and then it's really about the preparation more than anything else. We're going to do that at 1. And then just so you know, at 3:30 today, we do have a slight change to the schedule. Diane's a little bit under the weather. So Jesse is going to step in and do a social media class at 3:30 today. So that should be, so he's going to show you a few things and then he's just going to open it up for Q&A, whatever social media questions you have. So that's going to be at 3:30.
All right. Good job. I talked about this on role play this morning. I probably shouldn't share it now because then I'll force all of you to come to role play tomorrow. All right. I'll do it. So I want you to write down these numbers. So just take a minute. Even if you did this before this morning, do it again because it's a very interesting exercise. So if you bought a $500,000 house about a year ago, I think in January and February of 2019, interest rates were about 5%. Is that right, you guys? That you remember that? Okay. So let's use 4.5% because maybe you got it just below 5%. If you bought a $500,000 house in January, February of last year, at 4.5%, your payment, PNI, would be $2,027. $2,027.
Can you make me co-host?
I thought you were. Hold on. I can and I will. Got it?
I can.
Got it.
Okay. So $2,027. That's the payment, P&I. Fast forward. Are properties more expensive today than they were this time last year?
Yes.
Yes. Probably. Yeah. So I just threw a number. I don't know what it is, but I just threw a number out at the same house. If you didn't buy it last year at 4.5%, would cost you $40,000 more today. So the $500,000 house would be $540,000. Is that a fair number somewhere in that neighborhood? That feel okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So something just under 10%. The payment at 3.25%, and I heard today you could probably get the payment down to 2.75. But the payment at 3% is $1,880 P&I. So you're paying $40,000 more for a piece of property, but you're paying at least $100 less per month. And what are really the buyers looking for? They're looking for how much does it cost me to get into the house and how much is the payment? Get it? Then I went one step further. I remember what the number is. So we say principal and interest is the payment, right?
Right.
So first of all, before I go there, questions on what I just did. Is it cool that you actually could buy a house today and pay more money for it, but because of the interest rates, your actual payment would be something less? Is that kind of cool?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And would that be something that you think your buyers would like to know? Okay, so I know some of you have been sharing that with him, but some of you haven't. So let's have that conversation with them. That's A. B, the cherry on the cake is that every month out of the $1,880, $730 a month is principal reduction. That's forced savings. So most people don't put away $700 a month into their savings account. Did you guys know that? And this, by doing this, they would be doing that. $700 a month would be going into the savings account in the form of principal reduction. That's pretty darn cool. We need to be telling more people that. All right, everybody? Questions on those two items? Questions on those two items?
I don't understand